Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Keita-Marie. For today's Pilates practice, we're going to begin on our hands and our knees. With our hands shoulder width apart beneath our shoulders and our knees hip width apart underneath our knees. Pull and lift your tummy up towards the spine, and let's breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, keeping the breath in the rib cage and not breathing in the tummy. Begin now to round that back, dropping your head on your tailbone, and then let's move through our flat back tabletop position into an arched position of that spine as we lift the head and the tailbone up to the ceiling. Come back to your neutral spine, round through that spine, dropping head and tailbone towards the mat. Then moving through tabletop position, lift your head and your tailbone high, arching the back. Let's repeat this cat and dog position, rounding the spine, coming through to flat back and arching the back, coming through to flat back. Make sure you keep your shoulders back and down away from your ears. Keep the arms nice and long and maintain that breath, inhaling as you round the back and then exhaling as you arch the back. Come back to your neutral spine position now, and we're going to move into our prone exercise. So moving opposite arm and leg, starting with the right arm and the left leg, lift them up in line with the spine, then lower them to the mat and then pull them back in to your 4-point kneeling position. Move to the left arm and right leg now, lifting them up in line with the spine. Then bring arm and leg down and then pull them back into your kneeling position. Repeat this 3 times, making sure to keep your hips on the same level. You want to keep that tummy pulled up to the spine, and you want to move with the breath, still inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Let's do it a couple more sets. Right arm extended, left leg reaching back, lift them up in line with the torso, maintain the stability of the torso with the core, then bring arm and leg down and pull them in. Left arm extended, right leg back, lift them up in line with the spine and then bring them down to the mat and pull them in. Let's now move to lie down on our stomachs. You're going to bring your arms just outside of your shoulders with your elbows bent, palms in line with elbows. You're going to lengthen those legs behind you. Pull the tummy up towards the spine away from the mat while we relax the pelvis into the floor. Now taking a deep breath in, lift that chest, sliding your shoulders back, and then as you exhale, release the chest down. Inhale, lift the chest, keeping your elbows on the mat. Exhale, release that chest down. Make sure the tummy stays pulled in towards the spine as you continue to lift the chest up and release it down in these back extensions. 2 more times. Lifting the chest up and then releasing the chest down. Now we're going to lift the legs, so keeping them nice and long, lift both legs up and then slowly release both legs down to the mat. We're going to repeat this 5 more times. Think about lifting your legs from your hamstring muscles just below your buttocks so that you keep those knees nice and straight. Keep reaching them back away from the torso as you lift them up. Don't think about height, rather think about keeping the legs as long as you can. Now the 2 together. Lift the torso up, hold it there as you lift your legs. Then lower your legs to the mat and then release your torso to the mat. Inhale, lift the torso up, hold it there. Exhale, lift your legs. Inhale, lower your legs and then lower your torso. Lift your torso, lift your legs, release the legs down, release the torso. Lift the torso up, lift your legs, release your legs down, release your torso. Lift your torso up, lift your legs, release the legs, release the torso. Now lift the torso, lift the legs, hold it here, and we're going to do the swimming exercise with the legs only. Alternating those legs as you lift them up and down for about 20 seconds, keeping the knees nice and straight as we lengthen those legs from our hips. Remember to breathe still and keep your abdominal muscles contracted and pulled up towards the spine. Release the legs down Release the torso down. You're going to now bend the knees, pulling the heels to the buttocks, and gently sway the feet from side to side in a windshield wiper motion, releasing any tension that you might be feeling now in your lower back. Place the feet on the mat now, and we're now going to transition to the side of the body. So gently pressing this body up, come to lie down on your side in a straight line. Make sure that your shoulders, your hips, and your ankles are in one line, but your arm can just be in a position that's comfortable enough for you to rest your head on your shoulder. Pull that tummy in. Engage lower pelvic floor muscles to stabilize the pelvis. You're going to lift your top hand now and place the palm on the mat just at the base of your rib cage. Lift both legs up and bring them forward towards the front corner of your mat into a pike position. Bend your supporting arm and comfortably rest your head in the hand. Lift your top leg up in line with your hip. We're going to kick that leg forward for 2. Foot, pull it behind you, then lengthen the torso, lift top shoulder towards top hip, and then come back to your starting position. Kick the leg forward for 2, flex the foot, pull it behind, come into your side crunch, and come back to center. Kick the leg forward for 2, pulling that tummy in, flex the foot, pull it behind, come into your side crunch. Kick the leg forward for 2, flex, pull the leg behind, lift the torso up, come back to center. Kick forward for 2, flex the foot, pull it behind, lift the torso up, come back to center. Kick the leg forward for 2, flex the foot, pull it behind, lift the torso up, come back to center. Kick the leg forward for 2, flex the foot, bring it behind, lift the torso up, bring the torso to center, and bring that leg down. Now bend your knees in front, bending them at a 90-degree angle in relation to your hips and your knees. You're going to lift that top knee up, and we're just going to circle that knee forward 7 times, keeping your torso stable, keeping that knee bent. Imagine that knee is drawing circles. Breathing in through your nose and out through the mouth. Continue to pull your tummy into the spine and engage your lower pelvic floor muscles. Now reversing the circle now, circling for 7 times in the opposite direction. Still keeping the torso stable as we isolate the movement of the legs. Inhaling and exhaling. And then pull that leg behind you. Lengthen that leg, and keeping the leg straight, we're now going to circle this leg forward 5 times without moving the torso, and then reverse the circle 5 times. And bring that knee back down. We're going to slowly pull our heels back now in line with our buttocks. We're going to lift the torso up and bring our elbows to the mat underneath our shoulders. Take the top arm up towards the ceiling, placing the hand behind the head. In the knees on the mat, we're going to lift the hips up to the ceiling and then lower the hips back to the mat. Pressing the hips up using the side body muscles, the obliques, and release the hips down. You also have the option of doing this exercise with your legs straight, placing your top foot in front of your bottom foot on the mat. You can press the hips up here, keeping both legs straight, and release the hips down. Let's do this 6 times. Lift the hips up, release the hips down. Lift the hips up, release the hips down. Whether your legs are straight or bent, remembering to utilize those side body muscles to pull your hips up to the ceiling. Lift up now and hold it here. We're going to lower the elbow, top elbow down towards the mat, and lift it back up to the ceiling in a twist. We're going to do this 6 times, lowering the elbow, lifting that elbow up. Lowering the elbow, lifting the elbow up. Try not to lower or drop your torso or your hips. Then release the hips down and slowly come up. Let's come now to the same set of exercises on the opposite side. So lying down on the side of the body, first in a straight line, shoulders in line with hips and ankles. pulling the belly button and the rib cage in towards the spine, engaging your side body muscles. You place the palm down on the mat. Bring the legs forward in a pike, bend your supporting elbow and rest your head in the hand. Lift your top leg up in level with the hips and kicking forward for 2. Flex that leg, bring it behind you, lift the torso and come back to center. Kick forward for 2 and 1, flex pull behind the leg, lift the torso, come to center. Kick forward for 2 and 1, flex pull the leg behind, lift the torso, center. Kick and kick, flex pull behind, lift the torso and center. Kick and kick, flex pull the leg behind, lift the torso, center. Kick, kick, flex pull the leg behind, lift the torso, bring everything back to center. Release that leg down. Let's now bend those knees forward in a 90-degree angle in relation to hips and knees. Lift that knee up and circle that knee forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now let's reverse the circle 8 times as well. Keeping the torso stable, keep pulling the tummy to the spine. Zip up in those lower pelvic floor muscles. Hold the leg here now. We're going to pull that knee back behind us and lengthen the leg to circle forward 6 times. Keeping that torso stable, breathing in through your nose and out through the mouth still. And then we're going to reverse it, making small circles again about 6 times in the opposite direction. Bring that knee forward, bring that leg down, and let's slowly come now into our side plank position. With the knees bent, ankles in line with hips, elbows on the mat underneath the shoulders, pulling and lifting in the body, in the torso, lifting the top elbow up, bringing the hands behind the head. Keeping the knees on the mat, remember you can lift the hips up, place the hips down here, or remember alternatively we can do it with the legs straight, lifting the hips up, bringing the hips down. The top foot is always in front of the bottom foot in this position. So press the hips up, release them down. Lift the hips up, release them down, pressing them up and down, lifting them up and down. Side body muscles working as you lift them up and down, and lift them up. Hold it here now as you bring the top elbow forward and down and up. Doing our twists with that upper body, lowering the elbow, lifting it up, lowering the elbow down to the mat, lifting it up, elbow down to the mat, lifting it up, elbow down to the mat, lifting it up. Release the hips down and slowly come up. We're now going to transition now back to our stomach position. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Make a fist with both hands. Come onto your knees, walking your knees forward until they're almost underneath your hips. Curl your toes under and then lift your knees up in line with your heels, pulling the tummy to the spine. Pull your right thigh to the chest, lengthen that leg back, lift it up, bend the knee, and then place the foot on the mat. Pull the left thigh to the chest, lengthen the leg, lift it up, and then place that foot on the mat. We're going to do this a few more times. As you work the right leg, make sure that every time you pull that thigh to the chest, you're pulling and squeezing the belly button in towards the spine. So your abs pull that thigh in, lengthen and lift that leg, bend the knee, place the foot on the mat. Pull the thigh to the chest, lengthen and lift the leg, bend the knee, put the foot to the mat. Right leg and left leg. Try to keep your torso stable. Right leg and left leg. Pull thigh to the chest, lengthen and lift the leg, bend the knee, place the foot on the mat. Pull thigh to the chest, lengthen and lift, bend the knee, place the foot on the mat. Pull thigh to the chest, lengthen and lift. Bend the knee, place the foot on the mat, pull thigh to the chest, lengthen and lift, bend the knee, place the foot on the mat. Release both knees to the mat now. Point your feet. Lift up, pressing into your palms. You're going to sit back onto your heels, pulling the tummy in as you release the chest to the thighs. Lower your head between your arms and breathe here. Make sure that you're pulling your tummy into the spine and that you're not pressing it against your thighs. Feel the stretch along your spine and across your lower back. Breathe in as you walk your hands back and slowly roll up to come now to a seated position. Bring your hips forward and let's now lie down onto our backs, opening the arms to the side in a T shape. Pull the thighs into the chest and keeping the knees bent, rock both knees to the right side and then bring the knees to center. Then rock both knees to the left side and bring the knees to center. Don't bring them all the way to the mat. Bring them about halfway towards the mat because you want to use your side body muscles, your obliques, to control the movement. Let's do one more set now. Knees to the right and then knees to the left. And now we're going to go all the way over to the left side with those knees in our full supine twist, turning the head to look to the right, breathing here and still keeping the tummy pulled in. You're going to now lift your right arm up and bring it up and over your left arm, and then lift it up and place it back on the mat to the side. Let's repeat this 4 more times, feeling that nice stretch across our upper back and along our arms. Arm up and over the left arm up and over back to the right side. Then you're going to pull the tummy in, pull the thighs into the chest, release them all the way over to the right side now, turning the head to look to the left. And do the same thing now with the left arm, lifting it up and over to the right arm, and then bringing it back to the mat. 4 times on this side as well. Keep both arms nice and straight so you can get that nice beautiful stretch across your upper back and in your shoulders. Both elbows, bringing the hands underneath the head. Bring your left leg back and slowly press up using your hands to come up to a seated position with your knees bent and ankles crossed. Rest your hands on your legs and roll the shoulders up and down. Place palm on the mat beside your hips. Lift your right arm up, place a hand behind your head, and with your elbow to the side, reach your torso over to the left side, lifting your right elbow up towards the ceiling, and then slowly come back up to your seated position. Lateral stretch over to the left side, lifting that right elbow up to the ceiling, and then slowly bring the torso back up to center. One more time, stretching that right side of the torso as you lift the elbow to the ceiling and slowly bringing the torso to center. Switch sides now, so left palm comes to the mat beside your hips, right hand comes behind the head. And you're now going to reach the torso over towards the left side as you lift the left elbow to the ceiling and then bring the torso back to center. Reach the torso over to the right side, lifting left elbow to the ceiling, bring the torso back to center. One more time, feeling that stretch along the left side of the torso, and then bring the torso back to center. Place the hand on the mat. We're now going to bring the arms in front of our legs, and one in front of the other. Walk those palms forward, bringing your torso over your legs, and then releasing your head completely between your arms. Breathe here in this spine stretch, still keeping your abdominal muscles lifted and pulled in towards the spine. Then walk your hands in towards the body as you slowly roll that spine up, and then roll the shoulders one more time. Turn to look to the right, then turn to look to the left. Bring the head to center, lift the chin to the ceiling, and then drop the chin down to the chest. Bring the head to center. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat. Remember to like this video and feel free to share it with your family and friends. And remember to subscribe to my channel for all things Pilates.